Welcome to today's tutorial. We are using this fabric for our bubu gown. This is the back pattern and then this is the front pattern. I'm using 3 yards of fabric. I'm going to be using this shiny black fabric for the front facing and neckline. So I'm going to be starting by ruling a starting line. I'm going to be marking 1/2 inch seam allowance at the top. So I'm just marking 1/2 inch seam allowance so we can have a starting line. So after marking, I take my ruler, I use my ruler to connect the dots together to form a straight line. So after that, the next thing now is to mark 1/2 of the shoulder measurement. So you're going to be marking 1/2 of the shoulder. So whatever yours is, 1/2 of it. The exact without seam allowance. I'm working with 15 inches, so 1/2 of that is 7.5. So this is me marking 1/2 of the shoulder measurement. Please ensure that your fabric is in place so you can secure with a pin. So I'm just marking 1/2 of the shoulder. And then this bubu is a cut together shoulder with sleeve. So I'm not going to be cutting the sleeve separately. So I'm going to be marking now where the sleeve will be. I've already marked the neckline. So this is just me measuring the sleeve length. The sleeve length is going to be stop around the elbow. And then I'm come down 1 inch shoulder slant because our shoulders are not straight. After that, I'm going to use my ruler to connect the shoulder slope to the neckline, to the base of the neckline. And then I also mark 1/2 inch seam allowance to join the shoulder. 1/2 inch seam allowance to join the shoulder. So the next thing now, we're going to be marking our shoulder to bust, shoulder to waist, and shoulder to hip line. So I'm just marking the shoulder to the bust point or bust line. So I'll mark it on the other side as well, so that I'll have a straight line. And then shoulder to the waistline. The shoulder to the waistline, it will help us to position our pocket. That is where we're going to be putting our pocket. And then from the waistline, I also mark to the hip line. So the shoulder to the waist, to the bust first, to the waist, and then to the hip line. So I'll repeat same at the other side, and after which I connect with my ruler. So I'm connecting the lines with my ruler. That is, the first one is my bust line, this is my waistline. So I'm just confirming the measurements again to be sure that there is no mistake. And then from the waistline, I'll mark the hip line. So I'm just connecting the hip line measurement as well. So this is the hip line. So the pocket should not extend more than the hip line. So just label what we have. This is our bust line, this is the waistline, and then the hip line. So the next thing is to determine the sleeve opening. So I'm going to be using my bust to my shoulder to the bust line, and then I'll add 1 inch for seam. So I'm just adding 1 inch for seam. I'll use my ruler to connect that. So on the hip line, I'll mark the hip. I'll take the hip measurement, quarter of the hip measurement, then I'll add ease allowance of 3 inches, ease allowance, and then I'll also add seam allowance. So 3 inches of ease allowance and 1 inch of seam allowance. That is what I've added to quarter of the bust measurement. So whatever I have there, I'll just repeat it on the hip line, on the bust line, because it's a straight bubu. It's not a fitted bubu. It's a free bubu. So I'm now going to connect the armhole curve. So whatever I have on the hip line, I'll repeat it at the hem. I'll just measure what I have on the hip line and then repeat it at the hem line. So once you have done that, you use your ruler to connect them together. So whatever we cut out from the side, we're going to use it to complete the down part so that we can complete our full measurement. I'm working with 3 yards of fabric. So I'm just connecting with my ruler, the hem to the hip to the waist, and then I'm cross-checking my measurement around the waistline. And then my bust line. So next is for me to have my armhole curve. So I'll mark my armhole curve. I'm going to be using the French curve to do that. So that is the armhole curve. So I'm just confirming the sleeve length again. So whatever I have from the center front to the sleeve length, I'll make sure I have it at the bust line as well, so that the sleeve can be straight. So that is where the sleeve will end. So for the neckline, for the back neckline, we are using 1 inch. For the back neckline, I'm marking 1 inch. So I'm marking both neckline on the front pattern. So this first one is for the back. So this is the back neck depth. The neck width for front and back is the same. So you can use your freehand or you can also use your French curve, but whichever one you use, it will still be the same. So that is the neck depth for the back pattern. So we are going to be cutting this out. But before we do that, I'll just quickly also mark the neck depth for the front. The front is a V neckline. So from the shoulder line, I'll just measure where it's going to stop. 7 inches from the shoulder. And then I use my ruler to connect to the shoulder line. So this is the front neck depth. The front is a V neckline, while the back is a curved neckline. So now we're going to be cutting out the neckline for the back first and then trim the shoulders. and then the sleeve, then the sides. So I'm just making sure that the down part is straight. Then cut through the side and into the armhole. So the next thing is to separate them, but before we do that, we are going to trim the excess in the sleeve. So I'm just confirming the sleeve length again, and then I cut off the excess because the sleeve will not go beyond the elbow. So once I've done that, I'll separate the back from the front. Then before that, we are going to attach the fabric we are using to complete the length. So just take two pieces of the one we cut from the back, fold it into two, and then attach it to the down part of the front pattern and the back pattern. So this is just me using pin to attach the front, after which I also attach the back pattern. Then we are still going to use part of what we cut out from the side to create the pocket. So this is for the pocket. Just trying to measure to be sure that it is enough for the pocket. So the pocket will be on that waistline. So there is where the pocket will be. So I'm just giving that waistline a notch so that it will be easy for us to attach later, and also notch the hip line. So the pocket will be in between the waist and the hip. So having done that, the next thing is to cut out the front pattern. So I'll just take away the back pattern so that we can cut the front neckline. The front neckline. So I'm cutting the front neckline. So you're going to be using the shiny black fabric to cut facing for the front neckline. It's going to be 2 inches wide. So this is the fabric. Just fold it into two, and then the width is going to be 2 inches, but we'll be cutting 3 inches because of seam allowance. So after folding your fabric like this, just place the front pattern on it so that you can trace out the neckline. So you can use your pin to secure it. So I'm going to be marking 3 inches at the shoulder line. So I'm just tracing there's a shoulder slope there, and then trace the neckline. Then I go ahead and cut it out. So after that, I'll trim the shoulder line. Then I'll remove the front pattern so that I can complete cutting the facing. So I'm just mark the 3 inches. That is the width of the V facing. And then I also mark 2 inches depth after the V, after where the V will stop. So I go ahead and connect that and then cut it out. So before that, I just marked 3 inches all the way all the way down so that we can have a straight V. So the next thing is to cut it out. So this is the V facing. So this is what it looks like when you open it up. You're going to iron interfacing on it. So the next thing now is to cut the facing for the back. I'm going to be using the remaining fabric that I'll cut from the side to cut the back facing. So I'm going to iron gum stale on it. After which I'm going to cut the other part. So this is for the V. I'll just use my pin to hold it in place. So for the center, for the other design that we're going to attach the tassels to, I'm going to use this paper to illustrate. I've already cut out this paper. It's 16 inches depth by 10 inches width. So from the down part, we just measure 2 inches. And then I'll slant it to the middle. So I'm just using this brown paper to show you what the front facing on the V will look like. So after which I cut it out. So I'm going to use this to cut out on the black fabric. And then I'll iron gum stay on it as well. I'll come back to show you what it looks like. So this is it. This is the neckline of the back. After fixing the facing, the back facing is inside. And then we have joined we have sewed the joining and the down part to complete the length. This is the back pattern. We have also joined the down part to complete the length. So this is that V facing. I've already ironed interfacing on it. And then this is the other part. I've cut it out and I've ironed gum stay on it. So we're going to attach it to the front neckline now. It's going to sit on the front neckline like this. On the right side. So to sew, we'll place it on the wrong side of the front pattern. And place it on the wrong side, and then I'm going to stitch with 1/2 inch seam allowance. So I'm just using my pin to secure it in place. So I secure it in place with my pins. After that, I'll stitch with 1/2 inch seam allowance. Then at this center part, where you have the V, I will notch it so that it will be easy to turn the facing to the front side. So after turning the front facing to the front side, assuming you are finished sewing, I'll now take the black. So this is the black. I've already ironed it. So I'm now going to cut the side design on it. So first of all, I folded it to 2, ironed it so I can have the center. And then I went up by 3 inches. And then I did a slant to the center. Then I also added seam allowance. After which I cut it off. And then I'm going to take it to my ironing table. See, I've already folded in the side, the edges. So this part I just cut out. I'm going to fold it like this, iron it down. And then this other part, I also fold it in with 1/2 inch and iron it. So this is the pocket after sewing and cutting out. So we are through with the facing. So this is the back, the front facing, the inside. So this is the front part. I've sewn in the V neckline. So now I want to attach the other part. So I've already folded in the edges with 1/2 inch and I've ironed it. So I'm going to ensure that it's central. So at this point, I'll fold the front pattern into 2 and iron it so that we can get the center crease line. So this is the center crease line. And then you take the pattern. As you can see, I also folded into 2 and ironed it so that we can have the center. Then you match the center of the facing to the center of the front pattern. This is to make sure that we are positioning our facing correctly. After you have done that, just use your pin to secure it. Use your pin to secure it in place. So I'm also securing the middle part at the downside. So you are going to be attaching the tassels. We are going to put 3 tassels. So this is the first one. You can trim off the longer part of the rope. Then this will be at this side, at the edge where we cut out. So I just use pin to secure it. So you place it inside and then use pin to secure it. So I'm also going to attach one to the middle and then one to the other corner. So this is the middle one to be attached at the middle part, the center part. So I'm just using the pin to secure it as well. And then the other side, the corner of the left side, I'll attach one there as well. So we have 3 tassels all together. So after fixing it in place, I'll use a pin to secure it. So I'm just using the pin to hold the sides. So then take it to the machine and then we stitch it down from the top, sides, all through, all around it. So after you have done that, you take the back pattern, you place it over the front pattern, and then we join the shoulders together. We join the shoulders with 1/2 inch. So we join the shoulders with 1/2 inch. So this is what we have after joining the shoulders. We have joined the shoulders. And we have sewn the front facing. So this is the front part of it. So our tassels are in place. I've already sewn this part. So you're going to be folding the sleeve area now, the sleeve length. So you fold it with 1/2 inch first and then fold it in again. So all the parts you have joining, make sure you weave it for neat finishing. So this is the sleeve. I fold down with 1/2 inch and then fold again with 1 inch. So after you've done that, you go ahead and stitch it down. So just sew it down. So repeat same for the other side. So after you have done that, you just place your bubu together. You are going to be joining the side seam from the sleeve area. So make sure they are together like this. Place it together. And then you are going to join the side from the sleeve area, curve it to the armhole and then straight down. But we will not get down, we'll stop 8 inches before the down part. So this is the pocket that we've already cut and joined. So where the waistline that you notch, that is where the pocket will be. So I've turned the pocket so we have the right side inside. So you match right side to right side, you sew it down. You match the other side as well, right side to the right side, you stitch it down. After you have done that, you take the stitching, you sew from the side again into the pocket, from the side into the pocket, out of the pocket into the side again. We'll repeat same for the other side. And then we check our full length. Remember, we have a side slit of about 8 inches. So we have a side opening or slit of 8 inches. So that is where the stitching will end. That part I'll fold it in twice. Okay, to have the side slit. After sewing the side slit, I also fold the down part. And that will be all for this gown. So here is the final look of our bubu. This is Joydala fashion guide. Please like my videos, share my videos, and please subscribe to my channel. This is Joydala fashion.